baby. Don't look that way. Why you gotta be like that? Good girl. There's a good cow. Let's see. You got your legs a little close together. Uh-huh. Good job. Good job. Easy. Put it back. Good girl. Morning, y'all. It's Megan. Welcome back to the channel. Glad y'all are here today. I'm just doing what I do every day. Come spend some time with me today. As far as I know, I believe y'all just gonna have to put up with me today. Andy and Jacob's gonna be going to an auction that you heard him talk about in the last video. So they're probably gonna be gone most of the day, but that doesn't mean the work stops. So yeah, y'all come spend some time with me. All right, that's done. I've really enjoyed milking in the mornings because it's a big task. It's a time-consuming task, kind of. 15-20 minutes of me being down here. But it's a great way to start the day. Y'all have heard me say that before, and this is the first year I've actually been able for that to be an option, to milk in the mornings. So I've enjoyed it. But while she's finishing her food, here's your little up close of the new baby. He's up here hanging out. Him's up here hanging out with... Look at him. Hello. Can I help you? Oh gosh. Don't nobody want to see inside your mouth. There he is. We hadn't banded him yet. Oh gosh, honey, it ain't food. It's not food. Let me get this fella a treat. Don't act like this is some kind of petting zoo. Don't act like this is some kind of petting zoo. Oh my goodness, Ada. Hey, Cookie Coo. Yeah. Well, and what little bit's left, it ain't much, I'll share with my kitty cats. Tell me it's spring without telling me it's spring. Do y'all see what that is? I came down to let Candy out and grab my feed buckets. But me and Maggie's been working on the horses, and when those horses start letting go of that winter coat, it is so much hair. Like, I told her yesterday, I said, I think we've got enough hair to just like make another horse. Here's your treat. Her did such a good job. Her did such a good job. Yeah. Oh, here's a good cow. Come on. Oh, don't, no. Why y'all want to lick my phone? Huh? I don't get it. There he is again. Stop. What is y'all's problem? Come on, Candy. Come out, please. Come on. Come on out. I'm holding her here. Black Star and Candy are not friends. Well, I mean, Candy's just low man on the totem pole, and this is the high man on the totem pole, ain't you? Look at it. So, besides my regular old housework, something else I'm going to do today is I'm going to show y'all how I've learned to make yogurt. It is so easy. It is so easy, and honestly, I'm not a big fan of yogurt. Maggie really likes yogurt, so I wanted to try it. I have failed miserably in the, well, I say miserably in the past. I've only ever tried it one other time. That's been a few years ago. But I'm going to be making some yogurt when I get back to the house in a little bit. I like to take me about 10 or 15 minutes when I get done milking and take me a quick little walk before things get too crazy. But we've been pretty busy lately. When the sap starts rising in the trees, which is about this time of year, we hang our country hams. That means we take them from the meat house that you saw us lay them in, wrap them up in. We take them from there, put them in a sack, and hang them up we hang ours in a tobacco barn. Andy also got out to the garden. It was just dry enough to work, and got the first till on part of the big garden up here at the house. The part we're going to plant first. We'll be doing that real soon. I'm excited. And he has been super busy. Him and Jacob have been so busy working on the barn, y'all, and it is, man, it's so pretty it makes me want to cry. It's beautiful. So yeah, it's things of spring are starting to stack up. I love it. I love coming out of the dreary kind of winter and the restful winter, and you start seeing green, and starts not being so cold and miserable. Yeah, I love it. All right, so now we're gonna get some yogurt going. Now, yogurt is super easy to make, but it does take some time. Most of it's hands-off time, but just be aware before you make it if you're using raw milk. Now, if you're using pasteurized milk, it may not take that long. But where I'm using raw milk, this is some skimmed milk. I've already skimmed the cream off of it, made butter. So you can make whole milk yogurt if you want, but I just use my skim milk, and it's delicious. So we're going to pasteurize this. I want to kill the good bacteria. It's good bacteria, but it may not always give you yogurt, and that was the part I was missing when I tried to make this before, is sometimes you get yogurt, sometimes you don't. Like, it depends because of what type of bacteria is thriving in your milk. Now, people hear the word bacteria and it just totally freaks them out sometimes, but that's in your gut. You have good bacteria, and you're supposed to feed that good bacteria with things like yogurt, probiotics, raw milk, kraut, things like that. Feed that good bacteria. So the good bacteria though, like I said, may or may not turn it into yogurt. So I am going to pasteurize this first. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. So first off, I'm going to put some water in my big old pot here. And I'm actually going to set this jar just down in that pot. Pasteurization is just a fancy word for heating the milk up to 181 degrees or above. So that's what we're going to do here. But I'm going to use it this way. If I do it in the water, y'all know how milk will do sometimes. They're trying to like scald and stuff. And this way, I don't have to worry about that. And it heats more thoroughly, slowly. And I'm just washing a jar that I was going to be washing anyway. So that always works out for the better. So when I'm doing this, I'm using my big old water bath canner is what this is. And it has this on the bottom of it. So that way my glass ain't sitting on the bottom of the pot right up against the heat. Because that's one thing, big no-no. Even if you have to use a pot holder or a dish towel or something, if you're putting a glass jar into a pot, don't sit it on the bottom of the pot because it may break your glass. Alright, I'm going to sit this in here. So I've cut my heat on. My water is, I don't know if the camera even picks it up, is about right there is the top of my water, so it's not completely up over my milk. That'll still heat it up fine. I just want most of that milk submerged. So, make sure that's in the center so it don't try to fall over on me. Got my heat on like medium high. And I've got my thermometer here. It's got a little hook on it that I'm going to hook on the side. Like that. We're going to wait for it to get up to 181. And I'll show y'all what's next. So, while I'm waiting on my milk to come up to temperature, I came out here to check on our little seedlings. Little pepper seedlings y'all saw us start, I don't know, a few videos back. And we're starting to see some activity. You can see we've got several that are just starting. Look at the little seeds. There's a little one. Believe it or not, the habanero was the very first one to come up. And the bananas and bells are being the slowest, but they're coming. See, there's a bell. But yeah, yay. And here's some more plants we picked up when we went to the greenhouse the other day. I've come up to temperature here. We finally made it to 181. It takes a little while. That's why I said give yourself plenty of time. Now that our milk is pasteurized, we'll take that out for a second. I'm going to put the lid back on this so I can pick it up. I'm going to bring that over. Now, put this back. So we don't kill our yogurt culture. We've got to let this come back down to about 118. So now it'll just sit here. It'll probably take it an hour or so because it is such a large jar. Sometimes I do it in half gallons. It don't take so long, but we'll let this cool. I try to keep an eye on it and catch it right at 118 so we don't lose too much heat. Anyways, so that's what's next. Hurry up and wait. Alright guys, here we are. A while later. I told y'all this is a time-consuming process. But we are right at our mark. So we can do this one of two ways. I can use my yogurt from the last time because it's got live cultures in it. Or if it's your first time making yogurt and you don't have any leftover yogurt, you can always buy, now I don't care what brand, like I just buy whatever's on sale, but some plain yogurt with live cultures. So the probiotic means that it's got the live cultures. You can find it on the ingredient list. like here, it's got 6 live active cultures and it names them. That's what you want, plain yogurt with active live cultures to put in your warm milk. So, I'm actually just going to take my yogurt from last time and pull this out now. And I'm going to just dump that in there. If you're using already pasteurized milk, of course, you can skip that pasteurization process and just heat your milk up to like 120 degrees and then add your cultures. We just don't want it any hotter than that because it'll kill the cultures instead of adding them. And that should be plenty that I just poured in there to make us some yogurt. So now is the part that I think is super cool. Let me make sure all that goes in there. Now we're going to put our lid on. We want this to incubate. That means stay pretty warm for a few hours. So I'm going to grab the thickest towel I've got, and we're going to wrap this little baby up. Now just kind of tuck it in. You can tie it or clip it or whatever, but y'all know me. Just going to put it where it's pretty close. And that right there, I want to let that sit for about 2 to 3 hours. So, at that point, in 2 to 3 hours, I should have some good yogurt. So now, Miss Maggie has been dying to go look for some deer sheds, so I think we're going to ride over to the hayfield and go see what we can find.
Me and Jacob made it back from the auction quite a bit earlier than we expected to be. I honestly figured it'd be getting close to supper time when we got back, but you know, there wasn't nothing over there that kind of caught my eye. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it was plain out hot over there. I'm amazed at how much better it feels here at home versus there, and that's only, I don't know, 30 minutes away, but golly, as soon as we come across a mountain, it cooled off, and it feels so much better here than it did over there. But anyways, since I'm home early, I got plenty of time to get something else done this evening. But one thing I'm definitely going to go do is go up here and tear up where we're going to plant our potatoes. If I can squeeze through here. So I'm not getting it ready for planting just yet, but I'm gonna go make my first pass through the field and kind of go ahead and be getting that cover crop busted up. And that's one of the unfortunate things about trying to plow under cover crops is you usually have to make more than one pass. You know, if that was just raw dirt flipped over from last fall or something, I could probably take a couple, like one pass over it and be ready to plant. But when you've got that cover crop you got to work in, you really have to do some extra tilling. And I don't like that part of it, but it is part of having the cover crop. We need to go unhook his tiller. My tractor shed looks a little lonely without that 2600 under here. So this is the cornfield from last year. We've got crimson clover and oats planted in this part right here. I don't know if y'all remember it or not, but down the middle here is going to be just a grass strip. I'm not trying to grow anything in this area right here anymore. And then I've got the top part up there. I'm not growing anything in this because there's somewhat of an incline here. It always washes. I get ditches and stuff like that in it, and it's just not good dirt. It just don't grow something good in the middle of this field. The bottom side is good, and this top side here is good. But what I'm doing right now is trying to decide which part of it I'm gonna plant my potatoes in. I can't decide if I want to go out the bottom part of this field or the bottom part of that field. I actually think I'm going to do the bottom part of this field. This land up at the top of the field is a little more red land. Down here at the bottom of the field is a little more gray land. But I don't know. I think I'm going to try it right up there.
Throwing together a quick no-bake dessert to have after supper tonight. We're going to be making a blueberry yum yum, and it is called a yum yum for a very good reason. So I'm going to start off with some graham crackers here, and I want to crunch them up. The best I can. We didn't have any luck finding any deer sheds at the hayfield. It got kind of warm, and well, we just decided to come on back home. We'll keep looking though. She'll come across one eventually. I told her, I said, if you wasn't looking for them, you'd probably have been able to find them. A half a cup of butter for that. And a little bit of sugar, about 1/4 of a cup of sugar. Also, I checked my yogurt and it's not quite set up yet. I'm just gonna let that continue to sit there and work. Crazy me, did not pay attention to what time it was. So, once it looks right, I know it's done though, right? Alright, I got that sugar mixed in there with those graham cracker crumbs. And I'm going to pour in my butter. Kind of get that butter on all the crackers. And that'll be our graham cracker crust there. Now you can bake this or just put it in the fridge. I'm just going to put it in the fridge. If you've never had a blueberry yum yum, very good, very good. Now you can also do an oatmeal crust. That's pretty good too. I've done it both ways. For my blueberries, right now I've got 3 cups of my frozen blueberries. These are some of my blueberries from last year. So, to my blueberries, I'm going to add about a half a cup of sugar, about a half a cup of water. Now, we're going to let those blueberries come up to a little simmer. In the meantime, I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of cornstarch in my measuring cup. And this right here is pretty much how you make any kind of you know, you can buy the canned pie filling. This is how you make it. With any kind of fruit you want to make it with, really. So to my cornstarch, I'm just going to add a little bit of cold water, just enough to have something to mix that in with. To dissolve that cornstarch. Throw in that cornstarch. Then we're going to let this go till it starts thickening up, which won't take but a second. Going to get kind of glossy looking. Look at that, y'all. There it is, blueberry pie filling. So I'm gonna cut my heat off. Throw in just a touch of vinegar to keep the color. Alright, and that needs to cool a little bit. So while that's cooling, now we're gonna make our cream cheese and whipped cream mixture. Actually, I need a bigger bowl. So we're gonna need about 8 ounces of cream cheese. And so, I just happened to have made some cream cheese the other day. And I'm gonna guess, let's say, that right there. It's probably about 8 ounces, maybe. Alright, now, get a little air mixed into it. Now, to my cream cheese, I'm going to add about a cup powdered sugar, a little vanilla. Alright, all this is going to get mixed together. I'm going to add in a whole regular container of Cool Whip. Now, before somebody fusses at me for using Cool Whip, I just like Cool Whip, okay? Yes, I can make homemade whipped cream, but I like to save my cream for butter. And like I said, I like Cool Whip. So that's what we're going to use. My whipped cream is still like half froze. I thought it was thawed out. Oh well. Alright. And I believe we are about ready to make our yum yum. So the first thing we want to do is take our cream cheese mixture. We're just going to kind of make us a nice layer of that over top of our graham crackers we fixed a while ago. And if you can't tell by the ingredients, this stuff is very rich, so it doesn't take much to satisfy your sweet tooth. But it is super good and easy. It's honestly a great summertime dessert because it's not too heavy, but it's a cold dessert. Good to take for cookouts. But I just had a hankering for one, so here we are. Actually, my blueberries, I'm going to let them sit just a little bit longer. So I'm going to put this in the fridge. I seen some steam when I stirred them, and I don't want that melting my stuff here. So, we'll give that a few more minutes.
Well, I think this will be all the room I need to plant potatoes. And while I was on the tractor, I thought about this. I think this strip right here will be where my popcorn goes this year. Popcorn last year was over there behind me across the road. So I think I'll have popcorn there. This whole section, like I said, this whole section here in potatoes. And then down there that's probably where I'll plant my my landrace field corn. I think, anyways. I don't know. I believe that's what I'm going to do. My plans will probably change between now and then. So many people have asked, sent us messages, emails, and all that. How do you know when to plow under your cover crops? And typically, I would love for my clover to be taller than what this is here. Let's go look at this. I would love for it to be taller than this. But we're at the time of year where it's about time to plant potatoes. So it's done. I mean, I don't have time to let it get any taller. So right here, you can see this clover is only just a few inches tall. There's not a lot of biomass, or whatever you want to call it, to plow under right now. But that's just the nature of the draw. It's an early crop we're going in with. So typically when I start to tear up my cover crops, I look at least a week ahead of when I'm going to be planting. I kind of pay attention to the weather, because you got to plan ahead for these things. You're not going to just go out here and tear up that cover crop and plant into it the same day and have a field that's ready to plant into. You do have to plan ahead for those cover crops. So like I said, I try to go at least a week before I actually plant. That don't always happen, but the ideal, honestly, is more like a week and a half, 2 weeks, if you can get that far ahead. But sometimes when you're working with the weather, you just can't do that. So like right now, we're still, which I'm going to go back over this with my rototiller, so it's going to be a lot better shape than it is right now. But right now, we're still, I don't know, we're less than a week out right now, but these cover crops are not tall, so I don't have a lot to work into the soil. Anyways, hopefully that answered the question. I think that's about it. But anyways, hopefully that answered everybody's questions. You know, it's not really a specific answer to it all. Just kind of work it when you can. But I at least shoot for a week. But anyways, that's all I'm going to do today. Opening that soil up like that will let that start drying out. The little bit of air circulating will help drying it out. Here in about, I don't know, 2 to 3 days, I'm probably going to come up here with the tiller and really get it ready to plant.
Alright, so my blueberry mixture is plenty cool. We're just going to go ahead and get that on top of our yum yum here. We'll just get all that evenly spread out. So that way we get a blueberry with every bite. I'm going to give it a quick little sprinkle of cinnamon. Just a little bit. Believe it or not, I like the taste of cinnamon and blueberries. There we go. Which I like cinnamon. Alright, that's going back to the fridge and it'll be good and ready by the time we're ready to eat dessert. Check on my yogurt. And I think we're pretty ready. You can see that we've kind of got some separation there. Bring you in close so you can see that whey. You can see the thick is in there. That's our yogurt. And that whey is kind of let go. So it has set up real nice. And so we're going to strain this off. And we'll give it a little taste test. But it'll set up a little more too in the fridge. I don't want this super thick like Greek yogurt, so I don't strain all the way off, but more whey will rise once it's in the fridge. So instead of cheesecloth for stuff like this, I use these like I think they're called like flour sack towels. Works good for me anyway. So let me strain this yogurt off a little bit. That towel kept it plenty warm. It's still warm now. But that's why I like to catch it right when it's at 118. That way we've not already lost too much heat doing it this way. So, And it's not too chunky, for lack of better words. It's pretty smooth. I do like to stir it up a little bit. So you can see there, and like I said, it'll set up just a little bit more once it's in the fridge. But we have been loving it. See, I don't really want mine much thicker than that right there. So I'm going to give it a quick taste test. Now you notice that I did not add any flavoring whatsoever. This right here is plain yogurt. There's no additives, no nothing in it. It's plain yogurt. Mine and Maggie's favorite way to eat it is to take a little strawberry jam, mix it in the bowl of yogurt, and the sweetness and everything is perfect. And it is fabulous. It's perfect. Not too sour. Very nice. Oh man. Like I told y'all, I've never been a big yogurt person, but this is, man, it's good. Like, it is good. And so I'll let it sit here a few minutes and let it kind of strain a little bit more of that off, and then we'll put it in a different container. So I'm just going to scoop it right on in here. And I figure I'm going to have a half a gallon, maybe a hair more, we'll see. So I want to show you, when I pour it, I'm going to try to show you the texture. So it's not super thick. I don't want it super thick. Now I can let it sit here and continue to drain, and we'll have it, you know, it'll get thicker. If you drain, the more way you drain off, the thicker it's going to get. But I like mine more creamy. Maggie does too. This is something I think about when you start thinking about a milk cow and is it worth it. Maybe, I don't know, I think it's totally worth it. But when you start adding these increased value products, such as a whole half gallon of yogurt, you know, this is adding value to that milk. It's not just a gallon of milk anymore. It's just like the butter. I feel like I get my money's worth out of her for just butter and ice cream. Because I'm going to tell y'all what, ice cream has gotten plumb high. Well, everything has, I guess, but ice cream is so high. Yep, that's going to be about right. And the rest of that, I'll just put in a little bowl to eat tonight after supper for my dessert. I mean, that's to the top, Megan. And more whey will, like I said a while ago, more whey will come to the top, and you can just pour that off like tomorrow or something. And that'll give you a little thicker yogurt too. Ooh, I did not realize I made that mess on the side. And I like to label it so I don't accidentally open it and think it's milk. So guys, I guess that's going to about wrap it up. I got to get some supper finished here. And like I said, this yogurt, extremely time consuming, but very little hands off, as y'all saw. So just make sure you've got some time to pop in and out of the house a couple times through the day. So let me know if you try it. I always like to hear when y'all try stuff, or if you've been making your own yogurt for years, let me know. I've learned so much from y'all through the years on different things. So, yep, I guess I'm going to call it an evening though, as far as the video goes. Hope y'all enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate each and every one of you for watching. Until we see y'all in the next one. Y'all have a good one.